Are countries doing enough to tackle the climate crisis? How will developing countries fund their ambitious climate plans to transition towards more renewable sources of energy or protect against increasingly severe disasters like floods and fires? And is there enough political will and agreement to slow down global warming? These are some of the questions that will be raised many times over next week when world leaders, business persons, activists, and so many more people gather in Dubai for the annual United Nations Global Climate Talks, the Conference of Parties, or COP for short. And this year, it's called COP28. There are COPs held every year, and many of the same issues are discussed quite frequently with very slow progress. Still, Guyana seems particularly interested in this year's meeting. Why? Well, President Dr. Finali told reporters at his press conference a few days ago that Guyana wants to highlight its leadership on low-carbon development.
Our position on climate change and the successes we have had as a result of pursuing the low-carbon development strategy 2030, our agreement with HES Corporation, working towards leadership, and I'm pleased to tell you that we are also co-chairing the group of forested countries in the Commonwealth in providing leadership on the environment, on climate change, especially as it relates to forested countries. Guyana is co-chairing that in coming up with a joint strategy and in presenting a joint strategy to COP28. Our leadership will be on show at COP28.
Part of what Guyana hopes to showcase is its environmental stewardship by way of protecting its trees and its overall low-carbon development strategy. About 85% of Guyana's landmass, or roughly 18 million hectares, is covered by trees of various kinds. Those trees store 19.6 gigatons of carbon dioxide, a gas which traps heat. If the trees are cut down, the carbon would be released into the atmosphere, worsening climate change and leading to extreme weather events such as floods, droughts, and wildfires. While it has protected these trees for years, Guyana has been lobbying for a global system that pays the country to keep its vast forests intact instead of cutting those down to make way for agricultural activities or more mining projects, for example. Norway was the first to buy in, signing a deal for over $200 million once deforestation rates remain intact. Now, the country is working on money-making ventures on its own. It signed a massive $750 million deal with the HES Corporation, which is one of the oil companies producing oil in the Stabroek Block offshore Guyana, for 1/3 of all of its carbon credits. Now, these carbon credits are kind of a tradable permit or certificate that represents the removal of a certain amount of carbon dioxide from the environment. And Guyana became the first country to get special jurisdictional carbon credits issued to it by the Architecture for REDD+ Transactions, or ART. Guyana will go to COP to get more support for this venture, hoping to influence the voluntary market for higher carbon prices. But it isn't just that the country wants more money for the sake of keeping its forests intact. Guyana also argues that it is grappling with increasing climate disasters, like sea level rise and flooding, so it needs more money to do things like build sea defenses and improve irrigation. At a press conference, Vice President Dr. Barry Jagdew explained that Guyana is pursuing this carbon credits venture because funds promised at these very same COPs just aren't coming fast enough or in big enough amounts to help countries fund climate adaptation or mitigation.
The developed world has been very creative in their accounting. And so you have different reports coming from different sources pointing out that they are meeting their commitments and they're very close to the $100 billion per annum that was pledged to the developing world. The bulk of the resources that are made available to the developing world would be in the form of loans, and a lot of that came from switching out of development aid into climate financing.
So next week, Guyana is on a double mission, trying to get support and recognition for its low-carbon leadership and getting more money for its climate change plans. Reporting for the newsroom, Vashani Raghavir.